Jake Paul did a nice job of using his legs to move himself out of problems at times to try to keep space so he could be effective. Nate did a great job of trying to close that space, fight in the phone booth. He just didn't throw enough.
Yeah.
Wasn't able to throw enough.
A lot of it, like he had moments, but you could look. Everyone knows Nate for his Nate.
Nate's awesome.
Everyone knows Nate for his cardio. Everyone knows that he can push the pace. Everyone knows he can get
185 pounds.
But and that's the other thing. 185 pounds, you're having to weigh on them. You're having to push on them. You're trying to get them to move backwards, which he was able to do against Jake several times in the fight.
Oh,
he had some big moments in the fight that I kept believing. I couldn't believe the commentators like, oh yeah, but he's not really doing any damage. Not really. I'm like, he's hurting him. He's making
Sean
Jake
Porter.
Yeah,
Sean Porter he's a pure goddamn. He's a hardcore boxer.
You know,
come on, he's not going to go any other way. You can't blame Sean.
They're all going to go towards Jake right now because Jake's claiming he's just pure boxing. But then when he makes that transition to MMA,
Dan Hardy at the beginning said that Nate Diaz is going to back up. I was like,
I don't know. There was a lot of
where did Dan Hardy get that one?
There was a lot of things. There was a lot of things that Ariel and Dan Hardy were talking about. I was like, what are you talking about? It blew my mind, the two of them. And I like Dan a lot. I think Dan's breakdowns of his fights when he takes time to look over his breakdowns in MMA fights, I think he's fantastic. But some of the stuff that they were saying about Nate, like in terms of just the way his game plan is, the way he fights, like how come Nate's not utilizing his jab or this and that? I'm like, it just little things. And I'm like, well, Nate's got a good jab. Look, MMA is different. How come MMA guys don't go to the body? Well, let me explain it to you. Because it was like, oh, well, it's just an underutilized weapon because they give out some ridiculous answer, and go back and listen to it. But I'm in my mind, I'm like, well, we don't dip to the body that much because we lean our head that side.
Lean your head to a kicking side.
To a knee or a kick, you know, and there's reasons why. Like, you know, it's like that type of thing. It's just kind of like those, how come they don't move their head as much? Well, because when I move my head offline too much, like boxers do, they dip their head down by people's waist. If I do that, you're getting clinched and you're getting kneed. There's reasons why I don't do that. And so, the fact that that Arrow's even asking that, I'm like, you've been in the game for a long, long time. How do you not know this? Anyways, I don't want to be bagging on him too much because everyone thinks I just don't like him. And I do actually kind of like him. Yeah. What Nate was doing was perfect. He was smuggling the punches. Look, the knockdown to me was more of an off balance knockdown. Nate's never
got hurt.
He got hurt a little bit though, John. But look,
it rattled his cage.
It did rattle him a little bit. But I'm saying like it literally was like a knockdown. He hit a knockdown off balance. It was more of an off balance knockdown. Because also too, when he hit, he went to post his hands, and it was the momentum that took him forward. It's no different than the momentum that took him forward that knocked him down. So when he went to kind of come up too fast, he ended up rocking forward, kind of like through the under parts of the rope. Nate in this stuff that they're, you know, in terms of like the boxing portion of it all. He fought a very good fight. The output should have been a little bit more, but look, when you're dealing with someone who's bigger, it's hard to have that amount of output. Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and continue to like defend him. There was mistakes that he made in the fight, but I got to be honest. He is this. Let's go ahead and we've continued to say this over and over and again, but I want to make it very clear. He is this smaller guy, the older guy. He is, it's all those, the slower guy. All of those things play a factor. How old is Jake? 25, 26 maybe? 24. Yeah, 24-year-old Jake Paul. He's fast. He's bigger. Okay. He's stronger. And he's younger. All those things play a huge factor in the combat sport. Okay. Yeah. And look, the only thing that Nate had going on over him was the experience.
Oh, 26. Sorry.
26. But look, he had the experience over Nate, or Nate had the experience over Jake, and that was it. That's all. And the experience wasn't in boxing. It was like, sure, he's trained with top level boxers, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. He didn't have as much experience in the actual ring in terms of boxing against other boxers. He's got boxing with guys that he's pro boxers, Andre Ward, other guys that they've sparred and other guys they've worked with. I don't want to sound like I'm homering for Nate. I am a big fan. Everyone knows that. I'm a big Nate.
Go ahead and say it.
I'm
you are homering, and it's okay.
I'm not trying to homer for him. I'm simply just stating the facts. And the facts, if that becomes being a homer, then I guess I'm a homer. Call it what it is. we continue to support what Jake is doing. And I think a lot of people are frustrated because it's like, look, you keep picking guys that are smaller, that are older, that are this, that are that. It gets to a point where, like, especially when you're listening to him talk, he's like, oh, well, oh, I'm blessed to be here. You are blessed to be here. I think you've done a great job promoting yourself. I think you're a hell of a promoter. I think you coming into the tank. I think that was awesome. I think it was great. Whatever it was. I mean, like, it's a gimmick. It's all a gimmick. It's a YouTube thing, right? And I'm okay
Doesn't
with
matter. It was a tank.
It was a tank. Like, I'm not mad at that. I'm like, yo, this is pretty dope. But all of those things, right? But at the end of the day, you're not fighting people your age, your size, your not even like your talent.
Your sport.
Yeah, your sport. Your exactly sport. And so that's, I think, where the frustration level has been, where there could be a lot more.
But let me ask you this. Rate where you believe Jake Paul actually lies in the boxing world. He's not. Look, he's a decent boxer. He's decent. He's got decent skills. I would never take that away from him. And I've had friends I have friends that are world champions in boxing who have sparred with him and said, look, he's a decent boxer. Mm-hmm. He's not great, but he's a decent boxer. He can box. And he showed that, I thought, even in this fight with his footwork, as far as getting himself out of problems, moving himself around the ring the way he needed to gain space and everything. He's a decent boxer, but he's never, like, he can't fight against good boxers.
Yeah.
He's going to lose. He lost to Tommy Fury, and I don't want to take anything away from Tommy Fury. I thought he fought really well. He showed that he can box, but he's not a great boxer. He's not his brother. His brother is a great boxer. Okay? Terrence Crawford is a great boxer.
Yeah.
Errol Spence is a great boxer. Jake Paul doesn't belong he doesn't even belong in that conversation. So I don't blame Jake Paul for trying to set up fights with people that he should beat based upon his boxing skills, what he's been doing, his athleticism, his age and everything. His job is to make money.
Yeah. Can't knock him for that.
And he's doing it.
I'm not knocking him for that.
Okay. I can't, I know to sit there and say, well, he needs to fight, I mean, he at his weight, he'd be fighting either cruiserweight or coming up on heavyweight. Okay. In boxing. Really?
Yeah.
How do you think he would do against the top boxers? Come on. It's not going to be pretty. So I can't blame him as long as he can keep on selling these cards and getting paid and going on pay-per-view and I don't blame him.
No, I agree. I agree. Look, we're going through this right now too with Floyd Mayweather. He's making millions off of fighting guys that YouTube people. And I don't even know half of these YouTube people. I've never even heard of them, and I'm saying, like, it's just, it is what it is. The only reason why I know Aaron Chalmers is he fought in Bellator for a little bit because we had fights in Newcastle where he was from, where he was on the
Geordie Shore.
Yeah, Geordie Shore, which is like the version of UK version of Jersey Shore.
Jersey Shore. Yeah.
And so that's one reason why I know him. He's a super nice guy, by the way. But not on the level of someone like a Floyd Mayweather.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? So all of these guys, it really just comes down to I'm done with the gimmick fights. I was into the Nate one because I wanted to see Nate and see how he did. And I've never seen him box before outside of like being inside the cage with him, but that's about it. I've seen clips of him boxing and sparring with some people that I know. And that's about it though. But overall, Jake, just keep doing what you're doing, buddy. Like I gotta salute you. Okay. Yeah. You're making money. You're doing a good job. And, your skill level is not to be, I'm not trying to down talk it.
It's not to be scoffed at.
It's not to be scoffed at, man.
He can box.
I've seen some guys that have spent years trying to learn how to box and they still are not at his level. Years. Yeah. And I'm talking about, these are athletes too. They just don't, they can't pick it up. They just can't get the fluid motion of it all.
It's not for everyone.
Yeah, it's not for everyone, man. And he obviously, look, and one of the biggest things when you're talking about, look, it's one thing to say that you're a YouTube guy, you can fight and this and that. It's another thing to get in there. 10 rounds. It's a long time. You don't realize how long it is. It feels like fucking forever. I know we fought 5-minute rounds. But man, 3-minute rounds, it does something to the people that you're sparring. They want to push the pace a little bit longer at 1.5 minutes, at 2 minutes. They want to go harder at those 2-minute marks. They know they have another 30 seconds before their round ends up, and they get a little bit of a rest, a minute long rest. Yeah. All of those things are a huge factor. Your output's harder because the rounds are shorter, but you get more rest. He's doing a great job. He's a fantastic athlete. He's a fantastic business person. He understands what he's doing. He's got a team around him apparently that's doing a pretty damn good job because, they're picking out the right people. They understand. Tommy Fury was not the right person. Tommy Fury was his size, was faster, hit harder, all of those things, and a bigger guy, or about the same size, basically the same size and his age.
100% agree.